fight's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
Okay, guys, welcome back to Broke Bets for 2024. We got Carson here with me, of course.
Whoa, hello.
Yes, sir. If you guys weren't with us last year, coming off of positive results, also 2 years in a row now, overall holding a 7% ROI, 36 units won. So we do pretty well here, you know. We're going to continue these results in 2024 as well. We are starting a Patreon. If you guys want to go join, it's Broke Bets on Patreon. There's a link on the Instagram. I can add a link in the description of the video here, but you guys will just get all of our bets early. I got all of my fighter notes for every single fight on here, what we pick, my betting advice, how to approach each one of these fights, and yeah, $5 a month, super affordable, and it'll pay for itself. If you're already following our bets, it'll pay for itself. So yeah, let's get right into the picks. So first fight, we got Felipe Bunes versus Joshua Van. Going with Joshua Van, and I bet him here. He just looks too good, especially at 22 years old. You don't see many guys who can move and fight like he can at this age. I bet him for 1.5 units at minus 180. I think that's just a steal of a line. I think Kevin Borjas was a more threatening prospect that Van had to face, and he showed in rounds 2 and 3 that this guy, you know, he's going to stick around and make it a hard fight for you. So, yeah, give me Joshua Van. What do you think here?
Yeah, Van has incredible boxing. He works the body a lot and throws a ton of volume in and didn't get tired at all. So I like him here a lot. I mean, what was the line? Minus 180 or whatever?
Steal.
What we got him at?
It's a steal.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was really good. Felipe hasn't fought that good of competition. You see his last few fights, fought a 10-5 opponent and then 13-9 in LFA and won a split decision there. So he's 34 years old now, making his UFC debut. I got to go with the younger fighter here who has better competition faced as well too.
I feel like he's just got a high fight IQ. Like he does something that I see Sean Strickland do, which is like walking forward, and he did that with Borjas, where Borjas tried to implement a leg kick, and then Joshua Van just like, well, fuck you, I'm going to march you down the whole entire fight now. And it makes his opponents get tired, and he just gains as the fight goes on. Similar to someone like Manel Kape, who we'll talk about later. He's got crazy strung together combinations. He'll do like an 8-punch combination and you know, flick something to the body, back upstairs like you were talking about. He got kicked in the leg a little bit by Borjas too, and he just pulled it back, and then used his own, and then he fucked up Borjas' leg. So he's all over the board doing well. He's had good grappling defense here in these fights. And Bunes, you know, he's losing to, like you said, he's not winning against the greatest competition, and he's losing to good competition. That's a bad sign for him, although it does mean that he has experience. You know, this guy got rocked in this Horiuchi fight, and I just feel like with Joshua Van, you can't slip up. His chin looked pretty good. He did get rocked by one punch by Borjas, but Bunes is going to be overswinging, not sharp enough, not fast enough here to catch Van, and I think Van just runs away with this fight. I don't think age is going to play a factor, so...
Yeah, I think Van has incredible boxing for the flyweight division. I mean, he's super quick and super fast, and like you said, combos and works the body as well. So
right, okay. Van KO round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Tom Nolan versus Nikolas Motta. Gotta go with Nolan. I think, you know, majority is here, and for good reason. Going by first round knockout, and you know, watching that Contender Series fight, if you watch film on him, it's actually kind of hard to judge some of his performances because he's pretty reckless. But coming on there and what the commentary team said is this guy looks like Jalen Turner in a way. And he really does. He moves really well. He's fast for his size. And he has really stiff punches. It's just really similar to what Jalen Turner does. And Nikolas Motta, we just saw on the verge of losing against Trey Ogden get smashed in the face by a jab. Well, Nolan's got the range on him, and he's very good at cutting down that range, and I think he's just going to take out Motta here pretty fast. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 6-inch reach advantage, Nolan does, and like you mentioned, power. Look at Motta, he's been KO'd 4 times. 4 of his 5 losses are by KO. So, yeah, I mean, questioning that chin, and I think Nolan will be able to find that chin and knock him out.
Yeah, and I got the under 1.5 of this fight at a crazy good number. The line came out on BetUS like a week ago or whatever, and I bet it at minus 125 for the under 1.5, and now it's like minus 185. And honestly, I still like, if you were out there and you still want to play this fight, I think the under is still better than Nolan in this case. I just feel like Nolan does leave his chin up in the air a lot. You watch some of his regional fights, he goes hook for hook, and he just kind of leaves his chin straight out, which is just a really bad thing to do against someone like Motta, where he does have KO power himself, and Motta does like 2 things. He's like Glover Teixeira. He'll do a right straight and a left hook to follow, and that's his only combination, and he knocked out Cameron Van Camp with that, and yeah, other than that, he's kind of a little flat-footed. I don't really see this fight playing out on the ground just because Nolan is so large. It'll be so hard for Motta to hold him down. But, yeah, the under in all action, especially in the small cage. So, any other thoughts here?
No, nailed it.
Boom. All right, Nolan KO round 1. Okay, for the next fight, we have Westin Wilson versus Gene Silva. No-brainer, Gene Silva here, coming off the Contender Series, faced a very good opponent in Kevin Vallejos. I thought that dude was very good, and Gene Silva, very durable, good combinations, strong punches, and a knockout artist. And Westin Wilson, trying to do karate, it looks like in Karate America and some little school. I don't know. Apparently, you just told me before we went on air here that he trains with Wonder Boy, but it doesn't look like it. His hands stay really low, doesn't protect his chin. His footwork doesn't look very good. I think this is just a set him up, knock him down type of fight. So
might be one of the kids that Wonder Boy's taking in his white van.
Probably. That's how he got groomed up in Karate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, he's not all that good at all. Yeah, it seems like a straightforward pick here with Silva.
And Wilson, he does have a decent ground game from what I've seen. Like, he actually almost did have Brito in a knee bar, but on the feet, dude. Like, Brito hit him a couple times, and his hands are down by his hips, and they just have no reaction. So, similar to, like, Charlie Ontiveros. You're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? So, expect him to get flatlined here. However, no part of this fight is worth taking a part in for betting. Minus 800 is stupid. Under 1.5 is minus 350. That's also just stupid. Not getting involved.
That's a crazy number for under 1.5 at minus 350.
That means Silva by finish is going to be like minus 500 at least, right? It's got to be crazy. So
yeah,
it's an untouchable fight unless you're really behind Wilson, which I don't know how you would be. So anyway, Silva KO round 1. All right, guys, for the next fight, we have Farid Basharat versus Taylor Lapilus. Going with Basharat, I'm just a big believer in the Basharat brothers, and he's passed the test for me so far. Facing Damon Blackshear, who no one knew at the time was as good as who he was when they fought, and the insanely good grappling that he presented in that fight. And, he's a good striker, too. He doesn't have KO power, per se, but he can move his feet real well, and he's a good distance, rangy guy for bantamweight. And Lapilus, Muay Thai kind of guy, kickboxer. He doesn't have a lot of volume in his fights, and he doesn't really search for knockouts. So I do feel like Basharat still can get this fight to the ground. I think everyone's going to have an opinion, about this fight that Lapilus' takedown defense is incredible. It's good. There's no doubt about that. But Loughran was using a lot of muscle to try to pull down Lapilus, and he did get Lapilus down. And I feel like Basharat, if you watch his single leg and he dragged someone out from the cage, it's pretty flawless. So, and some of his guard passing is just amazing. So, yeah, give me Basharat here. This should be him all day, and I think he's going to out grapple him for the most part.
Yeah. I think the stand-up and striking could play out a bit even, and then, where the advantage is Basharat on the ground. I think he'll be able to get this fight on the mat and win minutes on the ground. I don't know if he'll find a sub, but Lapilus has never been finished before, so I tend to lean decision here. But
I do feel like to be one of those where Lapilus might just lay on his back the entire time, but it may be something where it's going to be something new for him, because Basharat is very good at just even doing ground and pound to open up people's guards. So,
he's got good top control too.
Yeah, and I'm looking in this fight at the submission or decision line. I just feel like if Lapilus hasn't been finished, one of the ways it'll probably happen is by submission and then grappling it to a decision. So I'm curious what that line will be when it comes out. Hopefully, okay. I mean, the number on here on Tapology for the money line isn't correct. It's like minus 240 or something. So hopefully that number brings it down. So, all right. Basharat by decision. All right, for the next fight, we have McGhee versus Gaston. Bolanos, if that's how you say it. I'm going to say McGhee here. On a roll. We've been right with this guy every time, even when he's on short notice. And he's training with the good bantamweights. There's just a crew, man. There's Mario Bautista, there's Sean O'Malley, there's Kyler Phillips, and there's like one or two others of these bantamweights that are just fucking dominating. And McGhee checks a lot of the boxes here in MMA. Has good cardio. He's big also for this weight class, at least I think. His hands look really impressive. And Bolanos, if you've watched his film, the grappling isn't all there. He's a Muay Thai guy. And I honestly think McGhee can beat him in the striking. The only concern would be like Gaston crashing his kicks into McGhee, but I just feel like McGhee here can use his grappling and just take over the fight. So give me a round 2 submission for McGhee.
Yeah, Bolanos, his striking isn't all that bad, but I think where you'll see him get exposed is on the mat, and I think McGhee will be able to expose that. McGhee can win on the feet too, but I think his clear path would be to take this to the mat and look for a sub or just win minutes there. So I like McGhee to win.
And watching the Aaron Phillips fight, who hadn't fought in a long time, coming in faced Gaston. I mean, he had a couple moments where he just took the back on him so easily, and I just feel like if McGhee's getting there, it's going to be game over for you. So, McGhee by finish to be a good number to look at here. I just like his money line.
McGhee's never been to a decision before. He's finished all of his opponents.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that.
The one time he did lose was by first round submission. So.
Well, yeah. Then I also feel like something to look out for. Maybe just McGhee by submission. That might be like plus 600 and an absolute steal, because he can totally get the fight there, and it could be a club and sub. So just think about that too. But curious what that line will be. Also, he's a decent parlay piece. I haven't done anything with his line yet, but I'm just going to let everything play out here for the next week, because we got some time, obviously, until these fights happen. So, yeah. Yeah,
maybe that sub number is pretty good. He only has 1 sub and 7 KOs, so... Yeah, we'll see where that number's at.
All right. McGhee submission round 2. Okay, guys, for the next fight, we have Matheus Semelsberger versus Preston Parsons. Going with Parsons. This is a shaky fight, and it is, I think the odds are pretty right here. This is close to a pick'em. I can understand why Semelsberger is the favorite. Semelsberger, for having a lightning rod of a right hand or laser beam, it is somehow not winning him and finishing fights. I mean, he's got a knockdown in the Brunno fight. He's got a knockdown in the Wells. He's got like 3 knockdowns in the fucking Wells fight. Couldn't win that fight.
And in the Matheus fight, but he was unable to get him out of there.
Oh, right, yeah. And he's got a knockdown in the Medic fight. And he's not fucking finishing these fights. And I know he's got crazy power that he could even finish the fight with 1 punch, but it just hasn't been happening. Poor fight IQ, too, like with Jeremiah Wells. No attempts to get up from the ground. I think he was just so scared of the submission game of Wells that he decided to lay on his back until the round was up, and then that just happened for 3 rounds. And Parsons brings a similar strength and grappling to a fight like this, where he can get a double leg, which is every single takedown that Semelsberger got caught with. And he can get that double leg, he can get the fight to the ground. And I think Semelsberger's just going to lay on his back here, and Parsons is just going to out-wrestle him for 3 of these rounds. And this is also, it's a fight where Semelsberger could just starch him in 1 shot. It could easily happen, but I'm gonna say it doesn't happen this time. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough fight to call. Like you said, it could go either way, and close odds too. I mean, Parsons or Semelsberger has to win one of these fights where he's knocking down these opponents, right? I think Parsons, he's been KO'd twice. Both of them were early on in the first round. So I say Semelsberger with the gas tank in the first round that he has, I think he'll be able to knock him out. But I mean, if it's getting out of the first round, I think he probably slows down and gets caught on his back and loses those minutes. So
yeah, I mean,
fight could go either way. It really is close to a
I don't blame you for picking Semelsberger at all. I mean, I think Parsons just possibly gets those takedowns, and you're right with the first round thing too of Parsons getting finished. If you watch that D-Rod fight, dude, he cannot move his head to get out of the way of punches at all. So, like, if Parsons wants to wrestle in this fight, he's got to do it early, because he does just get hit a lot. And in the Trevin Giles fight as well, he just got hit a shit ton. So, getting the fight to the ground quickly is something he needs to do. And I just think Semelsberger might play jiu-jitsu or play on his back. He's got a pretty solid chin. He's a pretty durable guy himself, but Parsons, when he looks exhausted, he seems to fight through exhaustion pretty well, like Directus Duplessis and all those motherfuckers. So, yeah, true pick'em. No action betting-wise on this fight. I don't see anything special here. So,
nah, definitely not. You can't trust either one of those guys.
Right. Okay. Parsons by decision. Okay, guys, for the next fight, we have Andrei Arlovski versus Waldo Cortes Acosta. I gotta go Acosta here by first round knockout. I mean, Arlovski's just trying to fight too much here and facing somebody who's going to be way faster than him. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one knock on Waldo is his leg kick defense, and I don't really see Arlovski, or we don't really see Arlovski go into that all that often. So, especially at 44, whatever he's at now, I think you got to go with the younger and the prime fighter, Waldo Cortes Acosta.
Yeah, I mean, the leg kicks...
His jab's really good.
Right. The leg kicks are scare. I just don't feel like Arlovski at his age will have the power even behind the leg kicks. And I went to watch some fights where I was like, let's just check his leg kick if he does one and its effect. And if you watch the Jake Collier fight, they suck. And his chin is right up in the air when that happens. So he can just get fucking clocked when it's going on. Don't understand the matchmaking. Just give Andrei Arlovski versus Jake Collier 2 or something. I mean, give him a winnable fight.
Jared Vandera 2.
Right. I mean, goddamn. Both these guys are just...
want.
Both these guys have just faced the cans of the division, so... other than DeLima, but... Yeah. Maybe I'll parlay him if his number comes down, but I highly doubt it would. So... Yep. Cortes Acosta, KO round 1. Okay, for the next fight, we have Phil Halls versus Bruno Ferreira. Taking Brunno here, coming off of a knockout. I actually think with that knockout, it seemed like he got more knocked out by his head hitting the mat. It was a good punch, but I do think the collision with the ground was the main factor in going to sleep. And this fight just comes down to overall durability, and Phil Hawes just doesn't have any durability. And I think when they just go punch for punch, that Phil Hawes will fall down. And Brunno, with every single one of his fights finishing in under 1.5 rounds, I'm going to use that 1.5 rounds thing. At some point, it's at minus 210 right now. It hasn't moved for like a week, so I'm just going to let it sit for a minute. Maybe I'll parlay it. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet, but I will do something with it. And yeah, I just think that Phil Hawes can't take a shot. So yeah, give me Ferreira.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Hawes has wrestling background, we know, but he's not bad at all. I mean, I just think, yeah, like you said, just the obvious chin is just not there, and can't really trust that at all. So, could you see Phil Hawes wrestling here and tiring out Ferreira? Possibly. I mean, Ferreira's only been, like you said, going under that 1.5. He's only been to the second round, I think, once. So,
yeah,
that's possible. But yeah, I mean, probably not. I don't know. I just think Ferreira will be able to find the chin of Phil Hawes and knock him out at some point. But I mean, Phil Hawes is, he's getting knocked out to decent opponents,
right?
So.
He's beat decent opponents too. Like, people have their opinions about Kyle Dawkins, but he also beat Kevin Holland. I was also a headshot. He beat some other people Kyle Dawkins, but
Nasadim Imavov.
Yeah, he also beat Imavov. He beat
Jacob Malkoun.
Yes, that's the other dude. Flatlined him. I think with the wrestling scare for him, and this is kind of what happened in the Imavov fight for Hawes, is that if he tries to do it, he doesn't have the gas tank to do it all 3 rounds, so he can't really do it in the first round, or if he does, it has to be in the last minute or two. And I actually feel like the wrestling of Ferreira isn't that bad. There's a moment where Rodriguez gets him down, and he gets up like no problem. So, I don't know, it'll be interesting. And it's a possibility Phil Hawes can win. He's just all offense, no defense, and that's just the question: is Brunno's chin gonna hold up? Considering he also is coming off a knockout, we'll see. So, I like the under.
Yeah, I mean that's why the under 1.5 is right there for the taking. I think that's the play here.
Right, and we're in the small gauge.
Right, maybe as the week goes on, that number inflates a little bit.
Yes,
I think it probably does.
Yeah. All right. Ferreira KO round 1. All right, for the next fight, we have Ricky Simón versus Mario Bautista. We're going with Ricky Simón here. This is a really close fight, a hard one to call. I've never been as much, honestly, a believer in Ricky Simón, even though we're picking him. I just feel like, he is just like this wide body, huge back, like good gas tank grappler, which is a good build, but for bantamweights, when you face, obviously, with someone like Sonny Dawn, who can, defend takedowns and strength, and he's maybe stronger than you, it gets harder. And one of my notes I have for Ricky Simón is he looks lost in a fight when he doesn't have a massive grappling advantage over somebody. And I think that's kind of what we saw in the Sonny Dawn fight. And even the Jack Shore fight, he was losing that fight up until the one punch that led him to a knockdown, then submission. So it's not the cleanest fighting, and I feel like Bautista, again, we talked about from MMA Lab with Sean O'Malley and all those guys, looks good, has been on a crazy good run. He hasn't beat the best of fighters. 4 of those in a row aren't that great, but beating Demont Blackshear the way he did was very impressive. I like Simón by decision, though. I think a little bit better, maybe even on the striking, and a little bit more strength in the grappling, he can win this decision. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really close fight as well. I don't know if, Batista's last fight, I don't know what to think of that. It was a close fight. I think the decision could have gone either way.
Blackshear was on a week's notice, I believe, too. It was
he fought the week before.
Yeah, he got the twister and then he did that. Yeah.
But anywho, I mean, I think the striking can play out pretty even, and I think most of the grappling can play out pretty even here as well too. I just think Simone will be able to control a little bit more of that on the mat. I think he's a few inches shorter, but low center gravity. I think he'll be able to.
He's good at pushing people up against the cage too, and he might just do that for minutes in this fight. Yeah,
I definitely see that.
But interesting fight.
Bautista's really strong too, so
true.
I don't know.
True. Interesting fight. I don't have any pony in this race. Maybe the over is something to look at. It's something I wrote down, but it's a little high still. I think it's minus 180. So just going to sit on that one too. So Simone by decision. All right. For the next fight, we have Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez. Going with the legendary Jim Miller. I mean, both these guys are great, but Jim Miller up there with Charlie Olives with the finishes. So I liked the knockout power that he possesses. He doesn't seem to be slowing down with these with his age in these fights. Alexander Hernandez kind of just pumped a jab and moved a lot in the fight, but even Jim had his moments in that fight, man. So I just think that Benitez's chin as well isn't going to be built as well for a punch like Jim Miller's. He got knocked out by Anamo really badly. He beat the can of Charlie Ontiveros a while ago. Again, activity, too, is something we speak about. A year and 4 months off, that's a long time. What round do you think Jim Miller knocks out Benitez?
Yeah, I think early on, 1 or 2, probably.
We'll go 2. We'll give a little bit of time. Go ahead.
All right, you like round 2? Benitez, he's been KO'd 4 times. 3 are in the first round, 1 in the third. So maybe we're going in the middle there, adding to the second round there.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, Jim Miller, he's a finisher. His last 8 wins are all by finish. So he's going in there for the kill. He's expressed interest in fighting in UFC 300. So I think this is a perfect matchup for him to get another win and then fight on that next card at UFC 300. So, I see that storyline here playing out, and I see Jim Miller getting a finisher.
And dude, that KO he had against Butler was so nasty. I mean, something crazy about knockouts. I mean, not only was that a great knockout, but the camera was positioned perfectly for it. Jim Miller ducks under the right hand of Jesse Butler, and then it's the hardest punch of the year, second hardest punch of the year behind Josh Emmett's, in my opinion. That probably landed on someone. Flush, and then the follow-up was just brutal. So he's got that going for him, and the submission advantage. I don't think he will be able to get a takedown per se in a fight like this, because he just doesn't really have great takedowns. But he has guillotines, he's got all the tools where if he rocks you, he can still fuck you up other places. So if there's a bet here, it's Jim Miller by finish, and that's what I'm sticking with.
I think I might play that depending on what the line is when it comes out. The fight's pretty much a pick'em right now.
Yeah, it'll probably be a half unit bet for me, I think. I don't know if I'll put a full unit on it, just because of the high age of both fighters. So, but
I mean, it should be decent. It should be decent plus money.
He's got to watch out for the calf kicks, Benitez, though. That's one thing. That's the only thing I would be worried about in this fight for Jim Miller. Both being southpaws and the lead leg getting chewed up. So, other than that, give me A10 Jim Miller. Okay, for the next fight, for the co-main, we got Matheus Nicolau versus Manel Kape. Going with Manel Kape. Something I think about Matheus Nicolau, he's really easy, at least in my opinion, to predict how the fight's going to play out. So he does the same thing every fight. He circles around the outside of the cage and he waits for a heavy overhand or left hook, and then he'll use his grappling when he needs to. So predicting if he can get a knockout versus a certain opponent, if he can win. It's not the hardest thing to do, at least in my opinion. And I haven't seen the development from Matheus Nicolau, and Kape just seems to get better, per se. I think that his striking is going to be faster as it is against everyone he's ever faced. And just rewatching their first fight, it feels like Manel's kryptonite is not just putting the gas on someone. You know, we just talked about Joshua Van earlier and how he just does the stalking pressure like Sean Strickland. Well, if Manel Kape brought that into his game, he would fucking kill people. But he watches fights go by and he'll lose minutes at times, and he should be finishing more of these guys. And Felipe dos Santos put him into a war. But if that fight wasn't at the pace Felipe set it at, I do feel like it would have been a lot slower for Kape. So I think this one goes to decision. What do you think here?
Yeah, I like Manel Kape to win, and I think he gets him out of there early. You see, Matheus Nicolau, when he loses, it is early, and it is by KO. He has 3 losses, and all 3 are by first-round KO. So Manel Kape has tremendous power, speed in his boxing, and I think he'll be able to get him out of there early. I think Manel Kape, like you said, he'll be circling the cage, and I think it'll just take one to hurt him, and then hopefully Kape does follow up after that big shot. So, yeah, I mean, you mentioned that not following up, I guess, or going for the kill. I think the Dvorak one was
that's what I'm
a good
thinking about,
example of that. Yeah, where he nearly killed him, literally, and didn't finish him. So.
Yeah. Matthew Semelsberger in some ways.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think Kape will be able to get him out of there early.
Right. Nicolau, I mean, it's a good point. You know, he's also coming off of a knockout loss. Obviously, it was a little bit ago, but it still can have a mental effect on someone here in the UFC. You know, Nicolau's on a win streak, and in their first fight, Kape did piece him up in moments, and there could be a scare like, oh shit, is that about to happen again? And Kape just rolls punches pretty well, and he'll just be so much better with his footwork speed. Again, the one thing that's missing for me from Kape's game is just a little bit more pressure. So, other than that,
I mean, he tends to not go for the kill, I guess you would say.
Yeah, but maybe play it too safe.
Right.
All right.
Hopefully we get a good post-fight speech and hear some F words coming back.
That's a good point. I forgot about all that. Gay anime boy, is that what they called Izzy? Whatever he called him, I can't remember.
He should call out Izzy after he wins this fight.
Oh, yes, he should. All right, Manel Kape by decision, or if, like Carson said, by knockout if you want. Okay, for the main event, guys, welcome. Of course, guys, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. You know, the early content coming to you. And that next card, the UFC 297, you know, we'll come out with that video early as well, hopefully. So, we got Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker here in the main event. Both these guys, nothing can go right for them, it seems like. Obviously, the draws in the main event of UFC 282 or something like that. And then Johnny Walker, you know, their last fight, and just Johnny Walker's career in general and lifestyle.
We're in the desert.
We're in the desert, yeah. Well, and his lifestyle with the infamous video of him sending a dick pic or whatever on Twitter. Fun stuff like that. He's just giving children pictures. Come on, guys. No, I'm just kidding. He just says giving a morning update. Anyway, we're going with Ankalaev here. I question whether his fight will go to a decision or not. You know, I know you're going to talk about it in a minute, and you're going to say decision, but I think that Ankalaev, once he gets this fight on the ground and Walker decides that he's too tired, if it stays on the ground, or if he attempts to put it on the ground, which he can take a little bit of time to do, he'll probably find a finish. But I do think it is a good point that this fight could go to decision, and I'll mark it that way for us, because it could be a staring match for 5 rounds here. And I don't think this is that good of a main event. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the over-under is set set at 1.5 right now. So I could definitely see Ankalaev just doing his leg kicks, playing at range, and then going for those takedowns, and then Johnny Walker just surviving on his back. I mean, Ankalaev only has 1 submission win, so it's not like he's really getting a lot of submission wins in the UFC. So I see him controlling him on the mat for a good portion of this fight, and maybe Johnny Walker tires out in the later rounds, and then that's when he gets a finish. But yeah, I mean, I just see the clear advantage on the mat and just getting a lot of control time.
And I feel like behaviorally, like, these guys have fought very different in 5-round fights. Like, Ankalaev versus Blachowicz, like, was hardly doing anything in rounds 1 and 2 until he decided that he needed to grapple to win. He's obviously got the better gas tank here, but, like, Johnny, when he fought Thiago Santos, that was, like, one of the worst main events ever. They didn't do anything. Obviously, that was a while ago. And he'll have to change his pace with this. I don't think he can fight 25 minutes at a Johnny Walker. I can't say these words on YouTube. I don't know, dumb twat methods. I just feel like Ankalaev, he'll probably win the moments in this, and Walker will want to stay from the big shots. I don't know. Johnny Walker also, like, a note I always have down for him for every fight is this, and it's Ryan Spann has this too, but like when he gets hit, his legs just don't work anymore. It happened in the Corey Anderson fight, happened in the Ryan Spann fight, obviously happened in the Jamal Hill fight. And I think it's partially because his legs are so goddamn big. You don't need to be that big at this weight class. So give me the Russian.
Yeah,
simple as that.
Hopefully, hopefully they doesn't end in a no contest or a draw, for the sake of the light heavyweight division.
Oh, it probably will. Don't get your hopes up. It probably will be a mess. Where are we? The desert? Well, he's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the over 1.5.
I somewhat agree with it, but I'm also in the same way.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit unwilling.
You're
to
also
risk
betting on a Johnny Walker fight too. So.
That's like the thing. Like, I bet the under in the Anthony Smith fight he had, and they just fucking pitter pattered, and it was like the dumbest way to lose money. And I feel like you could bet the over, then Johnny Walker could be doing reverse spinning, flying hammer fists, and you'd be like, oh fuck, well, should have bet the under.
Yeah.
So
I just don't think Magomed will put himself in horrible positions like that to get
exactly. It's not gonna be like Paul Craig.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. Well, that's it for us here at Broke Bets. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Anything else from you?
Stay tuned to the Instagram, Patreon, all that good stuff. Leave a like on the video.
And let's make some money in 2024.
Yeah, yes, sir. Let's go.
Peace.
Peace.
I know. It doesn't matter. I'm from the trenches. I'm built like this. The old down to me said I couldn't do it. The old said I couldn't do it.